Hey everybody, welcome to our UK and Scotland info session. We're both live on Facebook and here on Zoom. We are recording the session so you can rewatch it later. So just getting started a little early, give people a few minutes to get signed in. Hope everybody's doing well. Here in Omaha, it is freezing cold. It's crazy. I mean, you think you get used to it, but I don't know. And it's supposed to get nice and then cold again. Really cold next week. So that time of year, I suppose. UK and Scotland. UK and Scotland. Can't wait to go over this. It's incredible. Eventually, we'll have a special guest join us, our guide for the trip, Bree. So I double booked her, so she's got two things going on, so she's going to join when she can. But yeah, so super excited to see how it works. You have Judy in the chat. Hi, Judy. Feel free to ask any questions. If you are on the Facebook Live and you want to view the Zoom, you can go to the event and click on the link, and then you can sign up for the Zoom and sign in. The only thing that's different about that is you're going to be able to see the screen, like when I share my screen, you can see it there. Otherwise, just go sort of listening in. No big deal though. Same info. If you have questions, put them in the chat on Facebook or here if you're on Zoom. You can type it in the chat and we can answer the questions as we go too. I've got some frequently asked questions at the end that I will cover that other people have asked as well. So, hey Ruth, glad you're in. Thanks for joining. Last week we did one about Scandinavia, and I was in Nashville doing that one. And so this week we have UK and Scotland, and actually we're gonna have another one next week for the Mediterranean, Tuscany and the Mediterranean cruise with Azamara. So that'll be really cool. Again, that'll be next week. We just got the stuff put together for it, and we'll do it next week. Again, they're always recorded, so you can watch them later. So. 6 o'clock on the dot. Well, welcome everybody again. If you're just joining us live on Facebook or here on Zoom, we are going over UK and Scotland 2025, featuring London, Oxford, Cambridge, York, and Edinburgh. We're so thankful that you're all here spending time with us. If you want to share this video, you can. You'll be able to find it on our YouTube page, which is new, and you can rewatch it later. Also, it'll be live on Facebook. Let's see. Great comment. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. My name is JJ Bell. I am co-owner of Excite Experiences. Um, if you don't know much about us, we've been in business 12 years. We are technically located in Bellevue, Nebraska, just south of Omaha. Do tours all over the US and Europe. And we have been doing your overseas trips for 6, 7 years now and have had the opportunity to travel all over. And so it's been a really fun experience planning trips for guests from not just Omaha area, but from people that are flying from all over the place. The coasts, Denver, Kansas City, Chicago, Minneapolis. So we're going to dive into it. How the night's going to go, as I'm going to do a little bit about our company, our overseas journey trips, how we got started with these, what sets our overseas tours apart, and then we'll start to go over the itinerary. And then, like I said, Bree will join when she can. She's going to be the guide for this trip here in October. And then we'll go over some frequently asked questions. And let's see what she says. So, all right. So, like I said, Excite's been in business for 12 years now. We started doing overseas trips 8 years ago, and we have been all over. We've done the Christmas markets of Europe that we designed ourselves, which is fabulous. Italy, Ireland, the Greece, which is my favorite trip. We've got several new trips this year, UK and Scotland, Scandinavia. So really all over the place we're just so excited to plan these trips. Some we plan on our own, and some we have a co-host. And so for UK and Scotland, we are working with another company that put this together that we met at the ABA conference last year, and really liked what they did. They pretty much put their like, here's what we think you should do. And then we went through and sort of made changes based on what we want the Excite trip to be. And that really starts us off on the conversation of what are different about our tours. So our overseas tours are small groups, so 20 to 25 people. They range in age from, I would say, 35 to 75 plus. They are a little more active than they're not just a bus tour. So you're not going to sit on the bus all day long and just look at stuff. That's not what this is meant to be. We want you to experience the culture. We want you to taste amazing food, try wines and different spirits from the area. Some of the tours are food and wine focused, maybe telling the country's history and journey through food and wine, which is stunning. In this case, UK and Scotland, it's a great mix: touring, vacationing, wine, and great food and cocktails and everything. So there's something for everybody on this trip. What else sets our tours apart is the hotels are really great. They're centrally located. So as you'll find in the brochure, you can see where the hotels we're staying at. They're all where you can walk to anything. So we don't want you to worry about where you lay your head down at night, and so we pick out great hotels to stay at, and and they're a lot of fun. I would say that they're a great mix of a tour and a vacation. There are things that you should see and do, and like really exclusive things that we can get you into as a tour company, as a small group tour company, that you'll do with us. And then there's plenty of time to explore on your own. And I think that that fits a lot of people's personalities nowadays. If you find yourself as somebody that's like, hey, I'm not really comfortable just traveling on my own, there's always somebody from the group, and especially the guides that go, that will be with you. So you never have to feel like you're going to be just on your own somewhere for the first time. There's always somebody there with you. And it looks like Bree just joined. That's great. This is our first time having a panelist, so let's see if she'll be what it looks like when she joins. They're great. It's super cool. Hey, Bree, how's it going?
I'm good. Don't mind the aesthetic behind me, which is my back seat of my car. But hello.
Great, great. Hey, well, we're just getting talking about what sets our tours apart, and so I'm going to get into a little bit about flights and the first day, and then we'll sort of pinball back and forth. Okay. Okay, and for live, you're going to hear Bree on speaker, so you can ask us questions and everything. So just hang in there, and we'll catch up with you as we go through it. So, okay, so you know what? You're like, yes, let's do it. How does the flights work for this UK and Scotland trip? Well, they're the same as any of our other tours. You are more than welcome to book your flights on your own. Otherwise, we will do it for you. So we will pick out a schedule that works best for the tour and start booking people as they sign up with a trip if it's soon. So this is in October. So if you booked up now, like Judy signed up already, we probably won't book you right away because it's too early. So as we get into like the spring and maybe early summer, we'll watch the prices, and as soon as we see a good price, we'll start to book the flights. And we will call every single guest and say, "Hey, here we want to book your flights for the UK and Scotland tour. So here's what we're seeing. Here's the prices," and then we'll book the trip with you. And that's really super simple. We do it for a lot of reasons. Number one, takes it out of your hands. You don't have to, stress about it or worry about it. And two, it helps us group everybody together and get all the details together so that when we do get everybody over to London, in this case, we can get a coordinated transfer and all that. So if you want to fly in early or stay late or any of that, or like you want to use points on a different airline than we are using, we're more than happy to book that as well. And we can do the transfers and all that too very easily for you. So. And Bree and I are the ones that book the flights, so you're going to hear from one of us about what flights you'll be on and all that good stuff. So Bree, like I said, she's going to be your guide to the UK and Scotland. And so you will, if you're coming from Omaha, you will meet Bree most likely at the airport. That all of our fly-in trips are that way, so you can, if you're from out of town, we can, line you up with a hotel the night before that's close to the airport, or you can drive in if you're from Omaha or the surrounding areas, drive up. Um, Sometimes it's an early morning flight, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like 11 p.m., 11 a.m. departure. So we won't know that for a while yet. But otherwise, inevitably, you will meet Bree at the airport. Most likely, it'll be warm enough to wear a polo, so she'll be in like an Excite gear, so you'll be able to find her at the airport at the ticket counter. So let's just say United is the flight we're going to go with. We'll say, hey, we're going to meet Brianne at the United counter 90 minutes before your flight departs. And you'll say, great. Then you'll show up there. All you're going to need is your passport and your luggage, right? Obviously, if you want to bring any money. But other than that, we don't need to print any tickets or anything like that. We can do all that at the airport. And then, Bree will be there to welcome you and, need help check in anything. So make it super simple, and then you'll fly. All from Omaha, there's always a connection. So most of the time it's Chicago. We've done Newark, we've done Atlanta, Denver. So again, you'll know that more when we book the flights. And then if there are other people flying, like if you're from Kansas City, Minneapolis, New York, who knows? Most of the time, you sort of like link up with the group at those connecting cities, and then take the big flight to, in this case, London. Um, and meet the group then. So but we'll go over like, okay, if your flight does work that way, then we will, tell you, okay, you're going to meet the guy at this gate. Or, hey, you know what, your flights are going to be in London, so this is what we're going to do for you and how you're going to meet the group in London. So it's all super straightforward and easy to do. And then, so that first day is like an overnight flight, and we can pick out any seats you want on the plane. If you want to do economy, premium economy, first class, whatever, we can make that all arranged for you. And then you'll arrive the next day in London. Bree, now you've been over to the UK before, right?
I have. So I lived in Oxford actually for a few months, and I'm looking at my itinerary here from the trip, and it looks like we are in Oxford on days 5 and 6. And
Yeah.
I can tell you all from spending a great deal of time there. I've been to London. I've been pretty much all over Western Europe, except Scotland. I've not been there yet. And as an Outlander die hard, I can't wait. Can't wait. Um, but I loved Ireland. I loved living in Oxford. I love London. All of the small, I get towns, if you will, that we're going to are so rich in history. It is shocking that like you can go to a pub that's been running since like the 15th century. Like that's
Wow.
crazy to me. And like the sculptures and painting and art and just culture is amazing. I loved it. I loved going there, and I cannot wait to go back and to go to all these other cities. It's going to be so exciting.
And so you'll meet Bree, like I said, you're flying there, or you'll meet her in London. The other thing is, since we're partnering with another tour company that built this trip for us, there will be a guide with them also. So you will have two. You'll have Bree and you'll have a guide, local guide. And so that local guide, will be able to they'll be giving you like all the deep history of what's going on and host the tours. And like I said, Bree's been there too and knows a ton about what you're going to see. So it'll be great to have two, fabulous people guiding the tour. So your first full day in London, you're actually going to go to Windsor Castle and explore with a guided tour of this impressive complex. And then you'll head back to your hotel because typically you can't check into the afternoon. Once you check in, then you'll be able to freshen up, and then you'll head to dinner with the group as a welcome dinner, which we do on all of our trips. It's a great way to meet people, and it's always the first day. Everybody's a little tired, trying to figure out the vibe of the trip is going to be. You're not alone in feeling that way. That's how it is every trip that we've ever been on. And then after that, most of the people go to bed. If you want to stay out and go explore, you're more than welcome to. But most people end up like turning in, early. It's been a long, 48 hours, flying in and seeing stuff the first day, and then you'll get your first night's sleep there in London.
And I would
Um,
say too,
yeah, go ahead.
I know that we're gonna see like Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London and all those places. It's really cool, and seeing the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace is really interesting. Like those guys really don't break character if you talk to them, and just like the movies. And at night, I would say too, like after the dinner, the first night, if you wanted to go do something, going on the London Eye at
Oh,
night is
yeah.
incredible. And what that is that's that huge Ferris wheel that you see when you look at pictures of London, like across from Parliament. Um, and the globes, like the Ferris wheel seats, are all glass except for the floor. So it's glass all around you, and you can stand up and walk around. I think there were like 25 people on ours when we went. Like
Wow.
they're huge. And just seeing it lit up at night, you can see so much. It goes so high. It's beautiful. I highly recommend.
That's amazing. I would love to do that. Oh my God, I'm jealous now. Oh God. I'll have to do that when I'm there in June because I'll be in London for that. So that okay, I'm on my list now. Okay, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to actually put up the PDF version of this brochure that I'm looking at so people can see this. So bear with me one second. Now that's in the way. Okay, and Here we go. Okay, so this is the PDF version. We can mail these to you. You can get it on our website. We'll show you all that here towards the end. But if you want to follow along, we are now on day 3. So after your first official night sleeping in London, the next day is a full city tour where you're going to experience things like Westminster Abbey, Tower of London, where the crown jewels are held, um, and then Buckingham Palace, Tower Bridge, changing of the guard. And that usually runs from like 9 to 3-ish. So it depends on how long the Westminster Abbey tour and the Tower of London tour is. But you're typically back to your hotel about that time. You'll have time to eat lunch on that tour as well. And then this night, dinner is not included, but like I said, your hotel is like in the heart of everything. So you'll be able to, we'll have recommendations for you. People usually group up by now, and so they'll be like, hey, we're gonna go here and eat. And so it's really easy to find a restaurant. There's also a restaurant at the hotel, so you don't have to go far. But there's lots of great places to eat right by the hotel, so we invite you to go out and explore. If you are looking to make reservations somewhere, if you're seeing things, on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and you're like, hey, I really want to eat at this restaurant, just let us know that. And we can, we don't have any like special ins really to get those made, but we just want to keep track of where people are at. So we can help you coordinate how to get there and what's the best way to do that. So, some fun things that we can do for you on the tour. Okay, we're gonna keep rolling here. Day 4, you're gonna venture off on a full day excursion to Canterbury and Chatwell. This is a medieval walled city in Canterbury. Visitors have been coming here for 1,000 years. Very warm and charming town. You're gonna do an old cider mill tour and tasting, and then have time to have lunch there. And then you're gonna visit Chatwell. This is where the home of Sir Winston Churchill's is, and spend some time there and do a tour and have some time to walk around as well. And then this evening, you'll transfer back to London where you'll have dinner with the group. Bree, have you been to any of those places?
I've been to Canterbury and it's adorable. It's amazing. Every town is eclectic. I don't know how else to explain it. I've also been to Bath. I know you're coming up to that too, and Bath is really cool.
Awesome. Okay, so then speaking of Bath, the next day we're moving on from the hotel in London. So we will enjoy one last breakfast there before heading to Salisbury and enjoy the serenity and splendor of their stunning cathedral. It's got Britain's tallest spire, and it's also Britain's largest cathedral and cloisters. So that'll be a really great tour to see. It's got the oldest preserved copy of the 1215 Magna Carta. And so then you're off to Bath to visit the Roman baths. And Brie, what was that like?
It's cool. I mean, I wouldn't want to like go bathe in there, but it's cool for the history of it. Um, the tour, and we're doing a tour of it. When we went, we just went on our own. We didn't do like a guided tour. So I'm excited to learn more about it too as we go. But the Romans were very interesting in how they did aqueducts and baths and things like that. And it's insane that it was. I constantly looked at churches and art museums and everything and like looked at the statues and everything. And I'm like, I cannot draw stick figures, and everything in America is so young in comparison. And it's just shocking that the baths are still there and work, which is cool.
Super cool. Yeah, that'll be really exciting. And then you are overnight tonight. Let's see here. We are going to be in Oxford. So the next morning when you wake up, like I said, breakfast is included every day, so you can look forward to that. You'll wake up in Oxford. You're going to visit the University of Oxford. You'll visit Christ Church. Let's see here. Several scenes from Harry Potter series were filmed here, including the library that was the inspiration for J.K. Rowling's Great Hall. And then you'll visit a winery with a tour and tasting. This is the region of grapes that can grow slowly and ripen in the cooler climate, allowing time to express the hundreds of delicate aromas and flavors that ultimately deliver delicious wine. And I've actually probably never had a wine from the Oxford region of the UK, so this will be really cool. And then tonight you are able to explore Oxford on your own. So, Brie, what was your experience like in Oxford?
Amazing. So I studied at Jesus College, which is a part of Oxford. So Oxford University is like a ton of little universities that make it up. Same with Cambridge. Like it's just lots of them. So it's not like a singular college. Um, and I loved that. And it's right down the street from Christ Church. And Christ Church is insane. It looks just like the Harry Potter books. If you look it up online, it's amazing. And right next to that is the river that runs through all of Oxford. And so a really cool event. We did it as well. You can go punting. And punting is the person like on the back of a gondola that uses the stick to propel them forward or the pole. And you can go in big boats and do that. That was a highlight. We loved doing that. You can grab a drink, grab some food, do that with friends. That it's fun. It can be romantic too. Ours was more hilarious than anything because our pole got stuck. And then we just kind of floated and waited for someone to come get us. But that's really great. If you want good restaurant recommendations, I can give you those too that kind of span a gambit of different price ranges and fanciness. And also while you're there and kind of walking around, I need to look up the name of the pub, but there is a pub there that's very, very old, and it is where C.S. Lewis wrote some of like the Chronicles of Narnia. And I want to say it is also a pub that had Shakespeare there, but
Awesome.
I need to double check my sources. Don't quote me on that. But we
Cool.
saw that when we were in Avon. But yeah, there's tons to do.
Amazing. Okay, day 7. Today you're going to head off to Cambridge. This is voted the best city in the UK in 2022 by Condé Nast. It's known for Cambridge University. They have 31 colleges, which make up the iconic institution. King's College is one of those colleges founded by King Henry the Sixth, yes, in 1441. So this is a really unique experience. You'll get to spend plenty of time here. Again, it's guided, so you'll get to know more of the history. It's not just like walk around and find out. And then this afternoon, you're going to be able to make your very own gin, which would be a really cool experience. I used to be a big gin drinker. I would love to make my own. I've never done that before. But this local craftsman is going to guide you through the workshop prior to making your very own bottle of gin. So that should be a really cool, unique experience. Bree, have you been to Cambridge or King's College?
I haven't, but I had a lot of friends that would go on trips there and loved it.
Cool. And then you're back. We're spending the night in Oxford that night as well. So there's 2 nights in Oxford. All right. Day 8. Today you'll visit York. York, you advance your tour with a walking tour with a local guide on your visit to York Minster and walk along the city walls. After the morning stroll, you'll be in need of some sugar, so we've lined up a unique opportunity to visit a chocolate producer and where you'll get to learn about the process of making chocolate and make your very own chocolate bar. And then you'll have time to explore back in Cambridge. So you'll split your time between York and Cambridge because you're over the night again here. So just a really great, relaxing day, a little bit of history, a little bit of fun, and then time to make the day your own. I actually made chocolate I was in Mexico over Christmas and New Year's, and very different than I thought it would be. And we started from like the bean to like how it got to become like hot chocolate in the UK and tried it, and that was very interesting. And then we actually made our own chocolates, like warming the chocolate and cooling it, and what a cool experience it was. So to make your own chocolate bar, I can tell you it was amazing. So um, that should be really fun to learn and see how you guys do with that. All right, day 9. We're going to continue on this journey north to Edinburgh. You'll visit Durham, where you experience cheese making. You'll also get to taste and purchase this amazing cheese. And then you'll visit Durham Castle, which is set atop a hill overlooking River Wear. It's currently home to over 100 students of the University College. Um, this afternoon, you'll visit Colliford to see Hadrian's Wall and the Housesteads Roman Fort. And then tonight you'll arrive in the beautiful city of Edinburgh, which I have not heard anything but amazing things about. People that have visited just say they want to go back and just spend more time exploring. So we have a couple days here to explore. So not only that night you'll be able to explore, but you're staying in an amazing hotel, the Radisson Blu. And so by this time you'll have made friends with everybody on the trip, and I'm sure there'll be lots of fun activities there that evening after you check into the hotel. All right, and then in Edinburgh, Scotland's compact hill capital, it has its own medieval old town, an elegant Georgian new town with gardens and neoclassical buildings. Of course, you'll visit Edinburgh Castle, home of Scotland's crown jewels and the Stone of Destiny, used in the coronation of Scottish rulers. A local guide will show you all the stunning historic sites and the history, including a tour of Edinburgh Castle, St. Giles Cathedral, and John Knox House. A visit to Scotland wouldn't be complete without a guided tour of the Scottish Whisky Heritage Center, where you'll be able to do a tasting and experience the fine Scottish whiskies and Scotch. Uh, I've always wanted to be a Scotch drinker. It seems so cool to do that, but tried to like I never had the experience like learn about it, so that will be amazing. And then in the evening, you'll have a farewell dinner, which we do on all of our trips as well. So it's one last big hurrah with the group. Um, Sharing memories and getting everybody's contact information and just trying to reconnect for future tours. And then, of course, people always usually go out that night and if they'd like to and celebrate before the last day. Um, you'll obviously have breakfast that morning. Typically, the flights out aren't that early in the morning. It's usually mid-morning and mid-afternoon, and then you get back because you're going kind of back in time the same day. So you should be back in the U.S. on October 11th. And that's really very simple to do. Again, you will have booked all that for you. And so after that, everybody kind of split up on day 11 and go their own way. Okay, you can see the details here. This is the PDF version. So if you got the printed version, you have all of this. It's 11 days, 13 meals. The price of a double occupancy room for land portion is $4,999. If you want your own room, it's $6,299. Taxes are included in these prices, and that is with the conversion because you're going to be using the Great British Pound and so forth. So again, airfare is separate. We've been getting great deals on airfare. We book with the major carriers, so we don't go through like Travelocity or anything like that. It's with, United, Delta, American, one of those carriers. So we can do that for you. The deposit is $750 per person. You would do that when you book. You could pay by credit card, check, or ACH, and I will show you that as well. You can see the hotels that are listed there. Um, those are all pretty much set in stone, so there shouldn't be really any changes to that. And then on the right-hand side, there's a couple other caveats that you should be aware of. What the price includes. Of course, the itinerary is subject to slight variation due to weather and circumstances, but it's always replaced with something equal or better. So I've never had any issues with that whatsoever. Now, with our overseas tours, and I can say specifically, here in the UK and Scotland, there is a lot of uneven terrain and walking surfaces. It is not just like paved, flat cement sidewalks like we have here in the US. So consider that when you're booking this trip. You're going to want to wear great walking shoes and be mindful. We'll kind of go over some do's and don'ts if you sign up for the trip, down the road. Like, hey, we want you to take pictures, but try to pay attention to where you're walking. Walk first, stop, take a picture, and then continue. We've had, all kinds of people trip and fall just because they're so excited about what they're looking at and taking pictures and everything. We promise there's plenty of time to take all the pictures and we'll make sure you get them all. But we want you to be safe and everything. So, speaking of safety, we do offer travel insurance through TravelX. You're more than welcome to purchase travel insurance through anybody you'd like. It's not required, but you can go to that website right there, travelx.com/quote. And make sure you give them our location number, which is listed there for you to get our pricing. You can also just call TravelX Insurance and purchase TravelX insurance packages. They do have 3 different packages for you to sort of best determine what needs you have. They are great answering questions and about what ifs. So they're the best resource for that. We will certainly help you over the phone here, but they're going to have more information about specific circumstances. So reach out to them. Again, not necessarily it's not required, but it is out there for you if you'd like to purchase it. The prices vary, it depends on the price of the trip, age, that kind of thing, and what package you purchase. But they're very competitive rates with any of them. They're all very similar.
And then Jay, the only other thing that's different for anyone who's going into Europe, the EU, the UK, as of like last week, you do have to get a visa now. But the visas are good for 2 years if you have a valid passport. So it's a one-time fee that will last 2 years. And when you book the trip, I'm happy to also help you. Like if you're like, I don't even know what that is, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, how do I do it? I did mine this week. It was really fast and it just takes a couple weeks to get approved. So do it at least a few weeks before you go. But that may be something that as we get the list together too, JJ, I could send people the link to that via their email. But that is something that's new as of like last week. going to, especially the UK, you just have to have this visa. And if you have a valid passport, unless you have done something crazy, I don't know, you'll get approved to go. So,
Yeah, yeah. Great. That's great info. Yes, we will definitely help with that. Okay, so let's talk about refunds with this trip. Refunds are non-refundable 60 days prior to departure. Um, our You'll read on our website about our standard refund policy. This is slightly different because we owe the money much sooner, and their cancellation policy is this. So if you want the flexibility of full cancellation, I would recommend travel insurance. And that means that you don't have to worry. You could cancel basically whenever. And then you would basically we would help you file a claim with TravelX and you would get a refund from them. And then we would still be whole on our side, having paid all the vendors and everything. So, um, if something's coming up, please call us. We want to understand what's going on. We want to make sure that we can travel with you. We want to make sure that we, do what's best for you. So you don't be afraid to call and talk to us about what's going on. We are, you could read all the reviews out there. We are here for you. So I'm just saying with these kind of trips, if something's going on in your life that you might be like, oh, I'm not sure, then get the peace of mind of the travel insurance, and then you don't have to worry about it, right? You just go forward. And it covers other things beyond the cancellation. So even if you don't use it for cancellation, it has a lot of other things included. So it's still worth the investment. If you have any questions, email, there's my email address. That's me directly, jj@excitementtravel.com. Bree and I will field those emails. More than happy to call the office. You can message us online. So, okay, so let's say, hey, I love this trip. How do I sign up for this? Okay, there's a couple different ways. So if you're sharing your screen on Zoom, you can print the PDF version, which is this thing I have right here on live. You can see it on my screen there. It has an order form. Fill it out. You can put a little credit card number here at the bottom, or you can send it with a check. If you sign up online, which I'll show you here in a second, we can talk about ACHs. But fill this out. On this particular tour, there are no optional excursions to sign up for. So whatever is on the tour is included for you. So you don't have to worry about any of those additional excursions on this trip. I'm going to move over here and show you what our online process is like. So you can find all of our tours at excitemytravel.com. You would go to multi-day tours, and then you will find the UK and Scotland in date order. This is what it will look like if you're sharing your screen. You're on excitemytravel.com. It's the UK and Scotland 2025 tour. You can actually print the PDF version using this little link right here. Or if you hit this little read more button, you can read the exact same thing right here. It's all right there for you. Tells you what's included down here, what's not included, gratuities, insurance, and flights. Gratuities are $5 to $10 per person per day for the guide and the driver. And then step-on guides are also, feel free to tip them as well. We encourage that. And then you're like, yes, I want to book this. On the right-hand side over here, you see the price. It's just showing the double occupancy, which you can see from the drop-down. If you want to do the single occupancy, you would just change it, and they'll tell you what the price is. The deposit is the same. And then you hit book now. It's going to bring you to a little bookings portion here where it's going to say, okay, I have one double occupancy. So let's say that Bree and I were rooming together. We would say, but we're making our own reservations. You would just put one double occupancy. If it's like you and a husband or you and your friend want to sign up on the same one person's going to pay the deposit. You could put two here. Okay. And then you can choose to do the carbon emission offset, which is 1% of the trip, not required, but it's out there for you. And then you can pay the deposit, or you can pay the amount in full. We're going to say pay the deposit. Then you're going to hit continue. And then it's going to ask you for your name, your date of birth, your address, your phone number, please your cell phone number, and then any notes to organizer, right? Do you have any like food allergies? Are you celebrating something special with on this tour? We'd love to know all of that. So fill that out for us. And then when you hit continue, then it'll say, okay, are you paying with ACH, which is just the numbers on the bottom of your check. It's basically an electronic check. So the first number on the check on the left is the routing number. The second number is your account number. And then your name and info would go in second. You'd pay the deposit. It's free to do that. And so that would come directly from your checking account. You can also pay with a credit card for the deposit. So you would just hit credit card and then you would fill that information out as well. You don't have to pay with the rest of the trip that way. You can just pay, like, if you want to put the down payment a certain way, you can do it that way. And then we will bill out the final invoice later And then you can choose a different way if you want to pay with a different form of payment at that time. And then you'd hit confirm, and then you will get an email confirmation that says, "Hey, we got your confirmation. We're so excited to travel with you to UK and Scotland." And then we will reach out to you eventually about flights. So again, if you sign up like closer to the tour, we might call you right away. But otherwise, we probably will look at this, here like April, March, April, May timeframe to book flights out there to the UK. Again, if you want to book your own airfare, that's totally fine as well. Just send us the details of the flights, and so we can coordinate the transfers and everything. And that's as simple as that is. If you're going to print out, mail a check, once we get it, we'll process it here in the office, and you'll get an email confirmation that we got everything we need. Okay. Okay. So we talked about some of the frequently asked questions are how to sign up. We went through that. The deposit, we went through that. Group size, we went through that. Hotels, we went through that. We went through the insurance. Okay, so a couple other quick things, and Bree can jump in here too as well. People asked about global entry. So if you have TSA pre-check, that is fabulous, and that will help you in the US kind of get through the security line a little shorter. Um, but as you enter customs, it doesn't really do anything for you. So you need the global entry portion of that, which is like one step higher. It's not hard to do. It just has a few more steps, which one of them is an interview that you have to visit somewhere for. Omaha did not used to have an office, but we do now. It just has like limited hours. It's probably better now. But if you want to pursue the global entry, it doesn't take that long to get back either. But it is a process. So I would say once you sign up, it's a good thing that it's not expensive. If you have a travel credit card, a lot of times if you look at the benefits, they will even like cover that for you. So check out your Amexes, your Chase Sapphires, those type of things. Oftentimes that can be a benefit. They'll reimburse you for the global entry. Um, so again, Brandon, what your experience was like? I had a flight. I was coming back from a trip and I went to Houston, and that was where I made my appointment and did the interview there. I had to wait in line for a while, but the interview itself took 5 minutes, so it wasn't that big a deal. And then
Yeah, it was fast. I live in Dallas, and so DFW has a huge customs in immigration office at the airport, and it was super busy, but you just make your appointment ahead of time. And I went in, and they just scanned my fingerprints, and that was pretty much it.
right,
Then you get a card in the mail. When I did it, I applied oh my gosh, I applied for it in October and my interview was in December. So it's really fast. And it was about $100. And the reason I did it is because I'm going international a couple of times this year. And your global entry includes TSA pre-check.
right.
So it has both. But also if you're traveling and you're like, do I have to do it? Absolutely not. You do not have to do TSA pre-check or global entry. 100% is optional and your choice. I did it because I'm traveling a lot internationally and I have to fly into Atlanta, and Atlanta customs can just take a long time. So I just want to try to go quick when I have quick connections. So that's the only reason I did it. And then also it included TSA pre-check, and I fly a lot. So I was like, great, I'm excited to be able to do that. So, but if you don't want to do that, you do not have to. It's 100% optional.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. Now I've used it twice recently, and you literally like go to the TSA line or the global entry line, you stand in front of the machine, and then you walk forward. You don't need to bring the card, the paperwork, anything. It was so fast. And now also both times that I've been through customs and used it, the regular line was short also. So it didn't save me a whole lot of time, but it was useful because I have been in times where it's like really packed. And so you can save some time there, but we're not going to leave anybody behind or anything if you don't have it. So just let's always usually plenty of time to get through customs, but just if you want to do it, we can help you out and point you in the right direction. Let's see here. Credit cards and like what is the no foreign transaction fee thing? So there are some credit cards that don't have a foreign transaction fee. And that's important because like if you're going to use, I don't suggest using your debit card everywhere. I would suggest bringing a credit card that's separate from your actual cash account. Um, but if you have like, I know that like First National, their regular cards, they charge you for the foreign transaction fees. So what that is, it's like you're going to get charged whatever the conversion is, and then an extra fee to use the card. But there are a lot of credit cards out there that have no foreign transaction fee. So if you are loyal to a certain credit card company, Chase or whoever, Amex or whatever, check your own out first, and then just go to their website and like you can even search like credit card best credit card with no foreign transaction fees, and then read the reviews, and then find one that you're comfortable with. There are lots with no annual fees. Also, I know that's kind of a thing for some people. We eventually here at Excite will do a little video on like what we recommend, but there are lots of options, and it doesn't really make that big a difference. Just get one.
Mhm.
Again, you don't have to live with it forever, but just use it on the trip because those can add up a lot. And it
Yes.
used to be like, hey, bring a lot of euros and bring a lot of cash. It's not like that really anymore. You don't have to have all that cash on you. I don't really do that. I rather just have my Visa card. If something or my Amex, if I need to turn it off for some reason, if I lose it or whatever, then I can do that. If you lose your cash, you're sort of SOL. So um, I don't know what your experience Bree with that, but that's my kind of mine.
Yeah, I have a Chase Sapphire Preferred card and they don't have foreign transaction fees, so I like having that. And I get like a lot of points off of it too, which is nice when I'm traveling. For me, I like to do about like half and half. I plan my budget ahead of time, and I definitely like to have cash for transportation, attractions, and tipping is usually what I do.
Right.
Europe is very different from the United States as well. Just letting you all know when you get there, the price that you see is the price. There is no tax that's added after. So that was always very confusing for me. And then you didn't tip like servers. That was also very new to me when I was there. And I mean, granted, I haven't been there in 10 years, but um that was very different. But so I always brought cash for like if I was gonna get a coffee, like the little things. Also it helps me from purchasing an extra suitcase full of souvenirs. So I try to use cash for that. But anything else we use our Chase card for. And always, 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 if you're going to exchange your money and convert your money, do it here at your home bank. Because the fees are so much less. If you do it at
Right.
the airport, it's or a train station, it's super like expensive on the conversion rate. I just do it at Wells Fargo before I go. So, but you can always too, like ATMs, you can take stuff out of. But like JJ said, I only bring a credit card and cash when I'm there and nothing else. So I have something to fall back on. And I have my credit card on my phone as well. And a lot of people do Apple Pay. So that's my suggestion as
Yeah.
well. Like bring some cash. You don't need to bring it
Yeah.
all in cash.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but I would also do credit card over debit card.
If how much money do you, well, somebody asked how much money do you bring? Like gosh, it depends. If you're a big shopper and you want to like buy some cool stuff and ship it back or just buy stuff, you might budget more money for it. But if I would bring like if you're gonna bring euros or get euros, I always start off with like 200 cash euros, and that usually lasts a while unless I find something that I have to buy in euros. But then it usually
Pounds.
sets me up pounds. Yep, pounds. Thinking about something else, Paris and London. So think about that. But it just depends. Again, if you bring your Visa card, then you don't have to worry about that so much. But it's hard to tell people what their budget's going to be because I don't know.
Agreed.
Never know. Okay. What else? Anybody have any other questions about the trip? Like I said, it's October 1st to the 11th. We have a great group of people signed up for it. And like I said, we pick about 2025. So if you have friends that are thinking about signing up, now's the time. Again, your deposit's refundable. So at least put it down so it reserves your spot. Um, if you have
Clothing. Clothing
clothing,
wise,
yeah, go
I will
ahead.
say the UK in October will be chilly and rainy. So my best friend just got back from Scotland. Her and her husband went on a baby moon there, and they went in August, and it was she highly suggested waterproof shoes if you have them. She wore like these little hiking um shoes that she loved were really helpful, and a nice rain jacket that's you don't need like a winter coat, but like a heftier rain jacket to bring along with you.
Yep,
um it's very lush, very green there for a reason. It's beautiful. But that would be my suggestion as well. That's something I'm going to look for too.
I love that. That's great advice. Let's see here. Okay, I think you covered all the notes and everything. Let's see here. Judy, Ruth, any other questions you can think of? Judy has traveled with us before on some of our overseas trips. That was really fun. Christmas markets of Europe, I believe. Super fun.
I'm trying to think of anything else that's like a
I need to know. Yeah.
trying to think.
Um, you know
I
the
would get ladies or men as well. If you like to have like a satchel or a purse with you, I would highly recommend one that goes across your body that you can put in front of your body. Um, Europe's just a little bit different. Paris is definitely different than other cities though too, but um Target has an awesome crossbody bag. It's cute. I have one and it's like an anti-theft one. So you can like cut it, the snaps lock. It's really nice. But my suggestion too would just be like we are doing a lot of walking as well. So it's hard to have like the cute handbag. I love a cute handbag, but like a crossbody or satchel would be a great investment too. That maybe even one that you could do a little water bottle in while we're out and about throughout the day too. Would be my suggestion. Last time I backpacked through Europe, so I did it on the cheap and with a huge backpack. But yeah, it those are some of my suggestions. I think I'm trying to think of anything else.
The age range, like if you're thinking about who's going to attend, like I said, it's anywhere from 35 to 75. We've had every, mother daughter. We've had some families with older kids. But this is a definitely an investment of a trip because you're staying at nice hotels. You're getting, private excursions. You're in great hands. It's a smaller group. So it is an investment. So, typically if you're a little younger, it's not quite in the budget yet. So you don't see it quite as often, but really it's suitable for anybody that wants to go out there and explore the UK and Scotland. Um, if you're curious or questioning it, just give us a buzz and we can talk about it. But yeah, I mean we've had a blast with everybody, and everybody fits in. Everybody that comes with us usually is so fun. So I'm excited to see the group as it kind of wraps up. So all right, everybody. Well, hey, you know what? We are going to jump off here. We are so thankful that you guys spent some time with us tonight. If you're watching after the live, if you have any questions, message us, let us know. Otherwise, we cannot wait to travel with you, and we will see you all very soon. Thanks for joining, Bree. All right, good to see you all. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.